So lots of scams happening in the trucking industry, so I decided to dedicate a video on the 10 biggest scams that are currently happening in 2025 in the trucking industry. Some of them will actually shock you, but yes, they do happen regularly. If you ever wonder why our insurance premiums are so high, this video will definitely explain it to you. Let's get into it.
So number one, let's talk about staged accidents. So the common setup is a car cuts in front of a truck and the truck slams on the brakes, hitting the car can force a crash. So a real example of this was in Louisiana. A major federal case exposed a network staging accident with tractor trailers to file inflated injury claims. Dozens of participants were charged. Now again, there are a lot of cases like this, but only one or two get caught. So there's a lot of this stuff happening, but again, very minimal amount actually get caught doing it. Number two, inflated injury claims. So after a legitimate or a minor accident, drivers or passengers claim exaggerated injuries. So an example of this is, you rear-end the car, again, you think it's minor damages, all of a sudden the person comes out of the car, my neck, my leg, my back, I can't move, I can't breathe. I remember once I got a letter from the lawyer that, our client, and it really was our truck just tapped the car, and all of a sudden we're getting the inability to enjoy life anymore, and my customer is suffering from anxiety and depression and is scared all the time, and the mobility issues. And you look at the dash cam footage, literally the guy just touched the back of his truck. But this is happening on a regular. What does it do? It definitely drags out the proceeding, it drags out the settlement, and then the insurance companies, a lot of the time they just end up giving up, paying them whatever it is that they want. And people on the other side know that if they drag it out, especially with all those medical bills, that the insurance company will come to the table. Now the third biggest scam that people do right now is cargo thefts. So cargo thefts happen all the time. Some of them are real and some of them are staged. So what happens is a tractor trailer will arrive somewhere at a parking lot. Now, this happened to us. I think it was 8 years ago or 6 years ago. Our tractor with a flatbed of copper. It was parked at a truck stop next to the driver's house. Now, all of a sudden, the driver, ends up going home, does his reset. Why in the world would you leave a load of copper in a truck stop? I have no idea. But by the time the driver came back, all of a sudden that copper load was gone. So we actually thought that maybe the driver had something to do with it. It did not make sense with what happened. But anyways, long story short, the insurance company paid out the claim. It was a $200,000 or $300,000 claim. Luckily, sometimes they can get into $500,000-$600,000 claims. So these things do happen. Now, the next thing is double brokering. So a lot of fraud happening around double brokering. It's crazy how many phishing emails we get, how many phone calls we get here into the office. A story, that happened to us of, I think 2 years ago. Oh, actually, I posted the story. It was last year when somebody literally took my load hostage and they did not want to deliver it, and they just ghosted us after they took the load hostage. Obviously, our insurance, we had to get in touch with the shipper, contacted them, paid them out at the end of the day, but somebody did take my load hostage. Now, after about 2-3 months, we got a phone call just out of nowhere. So the person who took the load wanted us to pay them $5,000 or $6,000. We didn't want anything to do with it. 3 months later, we get a phone call from the manufacturing plant saying, hey, I have a load here. Your name is on the paperwork. The storage fees are about $400. Would you want to pick it up? And we did. But double brokering is happening all the time right now. Number 5, exaggerated repair bills. So there's a lot of fraud happening right now with repairs and maintenance. So for example, I posted a video not too long ago of how we lost $150,000. It was a truck rollover. Now, once the insurance companies get their hands on these trucks, the repair shops exaggerate the repair bills. So they would say, okay, it cost us about $120,000 to fix this truck, or it'll cost $80,000 to fix this truck. By the end of that video, and the last one is coming out really soon, you will see that we took this $100,000 and something repair bill, but we did it for about $30,000 to $35,000 of what it cost us to fix it. Yes, it took us 3 months to do it, and we're documenting the entire journey. It does take long, but the fact of the matter is that if the insurance companies would have handled it, and if it was a just a random body shop, they would have they sent the invoice or their estimate for about $100,000, and the insurance company would have paid for it. So definitely exaggerated repair bills is happening out there. Workers' compensation fraud. So this does actually happen. So a fake or an exaggerated driver injury claim. Driver arrives to a shipper or a receiver. There can be a slip and fall. There can be a pulled my back, sprained my ankle. So these injuries do happen. But there's also a lot of fraud happening around this, pretending like they have a serious back injury, False cargo claims. I mean, you might not think this happens, but this does happen. So receivers are very smart today. Shippers are extremely smart. So a receiver claims goods arrived spoiled. So a lot of this happens in the reefer industry. So load of broccoli arrives. Shipper says something looks off with the broccoli, marks it on the bill of lading, sends it back, and then says, you know what, we need to claim the load. But at the same time, they want to keep the load. They're saying that their product is not 100%. We want to see the reefer reading. We want to see the temperature. Throughout the 7-day journey or 4-day journey, the temperature dropped a little bit, then all of a sudden they have the right to claim. This is happening more and more right now, especially with the reefer loads. Fraud around premiums, okay? So this definitely happens to a lot of carriers. I'm not gonna tell you what I see in my lots, but I see a lot of this crap that's happening more with smaller carriers where people so a small fleet has 20 or 30 trucks. Not only do they pretend like they have 20 trucks when they actually have 40 trucks, they underreport miles. So a lot of people have insurance that's under mileage insurance, so they only pay by the mile, so they underreport their miles that they drive. A lot of the times the broker or the agent is in on this scam also. Now there are also, we'll talk about the last one, what I see in our industry and I hear about it and people send in comments about is the slip and fall scams. So at a yard, at a dock, at the shipper, at the receiver, a lot of this happens where, you know, driver arrives to the pickup or the delivery, all of a sudden he slips, bumps his head, and it's a fake slip and fall scam that happens. This is just the scams that I've seen that people email and people comment in the comments. If I missed any, if you guys can talk about them, it would be great. I'd love to hear some of your feedback out there. I'm Ronen and I'll catch you in my next video.